Okay, today I'm going to go through what's in my survival bag. A lot of people call these bug out bags, B.O.B bags, emergency bags. Well, I call mine a survival emergency bag just for the simple fact I'm not paranoid. I don't believe in bugging out. I guess if I had to, I could. When I grew up as a kid, I grew up in the country, almost the backwoods, I guess you could say. So back then, all of us kids had a backpack, so that way when we went out in the woods during the day to play, go hunt birds, whatever, we knew that we'd have everything we needed and not be in trouble while we were out there. So I've had one of these bags for the last 40 years or so, and over the years they've just grown and gotten better as I've learned to put new things in, make new things, etc. So I'm going to show you what all's in my bag today. And it does you no good to have one of these bags if you don't know how to use everything in it. I grew up being able to hang out in the woods, go out all day, never come back. I'm one of those people that I could probably go off into the woods and not have to come back if I didn't choose. You know, you lose out on the modern conveniences, but I love nature and I really don't mind being out there. So this bag just makes life a little bit easier, and I'll show you what all's in it. I'm going to get this thing unpacked and we'll go through everything piece by piece. Okay, everything that's here came out of my little bag. We'll go through this one by one. I'll probably go through this a little bit quick so that way I can try and fit all this in on the video. But we'll do what we can. Starting off, we have a stainless steel cup. You can drink from it, eat from it, cook with it. You just name it. You really need a good metal cup to carry around with you. If not, you really need a metal container, because with either one of these you can take the lid off of this or just use the cup, and you can also purify water by boiling it, and you can live without food up to 30 days, but you can only live without water for 3. So you really need something that you can purify water with. Another way to purify water, which I highly recommend, is a life straw. You can order these on Amazon. They cost about 20-25 bucks depending on who you order from. And I believe they advertise you can drink 10,000 gallons of water through this one straw. I also make my own water filters for filtering large amounts of water from a 5-gallon bucket. That'll be another video sometime, but we'll get to that. Another good water purification is your potable water tablets. These never hurt to have. I mean, I really don't use them. I know other ways to purify water, but if I'm really in a tight pinch, at least I know I have them on hand. You're going to need a first aid kit. Nothing major, just the basic necessities. You need a pair of tweezers in case you need to pull a piece of glass out, long thorns, I mean, you just name it. Bandages, cotton gauze, ibuprofens, needles in case you need to stitch yourself up, which I have done before, Q-tips, hand sanitizer, medical tape, medical gloves. But you don't have to go overboard with your medical kit. You really just need the basics. You know, ways to sterilize things, way to clean yourself up if you get hurt. I have some camphofenique in there. I have some Neosporin in there. Let's see what else we have here. A headlamp. I highly recommend a headlamp over a flashlight. I carry both, but I do carry a very small, high-powered flashlight. But a headlamp keeps your hands free. You can use it whenever you want. You don't have to hold it. This is a very heavy-duty hatchet by East Wing. It's got a metal handle forged onto the metal head. I've had East Wing hammers when I was doing construction. They're a really good tool. Me, myself, I prefer a true tomahawk with a hickory handle, because if anything ever breaks, you can fix it while you're out in the forest. I have a military style switchblade. That comes in handy, double-edged. This is my favorite machete. I have several. I always keep a file on the side. Let's set this camera down a second. Always have a file. This is my day-to-day use knife in the forest. It's a Damascus steel. I'm not really worried about damaging this knife. Damascus is very tough. I actually made the handle myself out of black walnut, which black walnut is very tough, and I designed it to actually just fit my hand. So it's a personalized knife for myself. This is a short bush machete. These are really tough. The wider angle on the bottom makes up for the length that you lack for the swing. The weight on the end actually takes over and will give you just about as much cutting power, if not more, than a full-length machete. This is my boot knife. It's a solid steel knife, nothing fancy. But the great thing about a solid steel knife is you can use another board or a branch, anything basically, and beat on one side to split wood. I can tie this onto the end of a long stick, use it as a fishing spear, hunting spear. It just locks into the case. Waterproof container is a big must. In the waterproof container, I keep all my fire making goods. I keep a Fresnel lens. I keep aluminum foil for flashing in case of emergency. I have a couple lighters in here, a magnesium stick and a striker. Let's see. Need a good pair of leather gloves. Leather gloves are not only for protecting your hands, they're also for keeping you warm during the winter. So you definitely need a pair of leather gloves. These are rags. I know it sounds kind of corny to a lot of you, but if you had to go off into the forest and you didn't have all the necessities you needed in life, toilet paper is going to be one of those necessities. So decent rag that you can wash and so forth comes in handy. That's how they used to do it back in the day. So it's nothing to be fidgety about. Necessities are necessities. I keep 2 things of parachute cord, because with parachute cord you can use the outer liner, or you can cut it and take all the strings out of the middle for multiple string. So paracord's a big must. Always keep an extra pair of socks. You don't want wet feet. Wet feet have brought down many a soldier in the battlefield. Always keep a dry pair of socks. Garbage bags for keeping yourself dry, keeping your goods dry. You can make a temporary shelter out of these to keep the rain off below bush shelter. These right here, I used to dip tobacco, but I've quit for a couple years now, but I saved the cans because I make these. My wife uses incense wax around the house, so when the smell's basically almost gone out of it, I take cotton pads and I dip them in the wax after I melt it. And you just tear off a small piece, separate it. That way you see the cotton fiber really nice. And this little guy right here can start you a fire great. Whoops. I got the ceiling fan above me, but it'll burn just like a candle, therefore giving you longer burn time in wet conditions and such to be able to start your fire. Let me put this out. Let's see, that's one fire starter that I make. This is another. These are just drinking straws. I take a cotton ball and I douse it with Vaseline, petroleum jelly, which I keep in the bag. And what you do, you just cut this in half. The cotton ball will be exposed, fluff it up, and that makes a great fire starter. I like these actually better than I do the wax disc because they light easier, they burn just as long, and very flammable. They'll even burn in wet conditions. The straw I pinch on the ends with and pinch them shut after I melt them with a pair of small pliers, and it keeps them completely waterproof. Wax string. Wax string is a real good necessity to have. With wax string, you can tie arrowheads on, multiple uses. And then whatever you need to tie, slightly heat it up a bit with a flame, and it will melt all the string together and form it as one piece. I keep a small bag of hot glue sticks cut into small sections. You can heat these up and use the hot glue for making multiple items, patching things. If you have a hole in one of your drinking containers, you can temporarily seal it with hot glue. mounting your arrowheads, spearheads, etc. to sticks, you're going to need something that's adhesive. Pine sap will work. Several different saps that are sticky work, but this works great. It takes up very little space. Fishing line comes in great, making traps, going fishing, etc. I always keep fishing line on hand. It has multiple uses. This is a self-sticking ace bandage. You need a sprain. You have a sprain, you need something to wrap it. You have a really bad wound, you want to wrap it down semi-tight, but not over tight. This works great. I love this stuff. Keep a marker on hand, you never know. Extra shoelaces. You really need extra shoelaces. This is an extra bag that I have for gathering things. I can also use it for a trap. Basically, it's a camping laundry bag, but it has several uses you can use this for. Like I say, you can trap animals with it. You can carry foraged foods with it. And inside, I keep several different gauges of construction nails in case I need to make a shelter, in case I need a stabilizer for a trap, etc. I have nails on hand. A small pair of folding scissors comes in handy, you never know. Medical supply comes in great. This is a small chainsaw, a hand chainsaw, great for cutting branches, small trees, etc. Toothpaste, toothbrush, everybody knows what that's for. You don't want to get a bad tooth problem out in the woods. There ain't nobody there to fix you. I keep duct tape and electrical tape, multiple uses. You can patch with this, you can use duct tape for band-aids. You just name it. You can make shoes out of duct tape. There's endless opportunities with duct tape. This is a bag of liquids. So I keep it in the bag to make sure they never leak. One is hand sanitizer, one is rubbing alcohol, one is Bactine, which is an antiseptic, one is rum, one is vodka. These are great barter items, the rum and vodka. They're also sterilizers for wounds and also nerve tonic. Utility tool comes in handy. I keep another small knife in with my utility tool. Emergency blanket, you can use this as flashing, you can use it to keep yourself warm. Multiple uses on this, an SOS situation. If you see somebody that's coming to rescue, use this as a reflector to get their attention. This is just a cheap dollar store noisemaker. Works great though. If me and the wife were to get separated, she has one also. It has a total unique sound. You're not going to mistake this for anything in the forest. As you can see, you're not going to mistake that. Only the other person will know that sound, and they can follow that sound and find the opposite person. Keep a towelettes. These are off towelettes. They actually, I don't worry about mosquitoes. I live in Costa Rica. Mosquitoes are an everyday item, but these also help keep ticks off you just to a point. Another thing that'll keep ticks off is spraying your pant legs and your shoes with rubbing alcohol. They can't stand the smell of it. Just another Fresnel lens. Here's a small high-powered flashlight I was telling you about. It's LED. I don't have batteries in it right now. I try not to store batteries in my electrical devices because after a while they have a tendency to corrode and they can mess up your piece. So I keep the batteries separate. I try and keep everything here that runs on AA. Of course, in my bag I only have two sources of light. One runs on AA, one runs on AAA. So therefore they don't take up much room or weight. You want to try and keep your bag as light as possible to keep it mobile. I have a survival brick of food. It's high protein, high vitamin, high amino acid. Has a shelf life, I think, for 15 years. It's not going to feed you. It's not going to keep you alive. But in a tough situation, at least you have something to get you by until you catch something or kill something. A small multi-use tool. It's a bottle opener. It has a small wrench on the end, and you can eat with it. Spoon, fork, spork, I guess you could say. I have a multi-directional compass. Also has a magnifying glass on it so I can start a fire if I need to. I also keep a portable magnifying glass, starting fire if I need to. Small pair of binoculars for on the go. You need to see far distances at times, at least you have something you can see with. I keep an extra belt, wrap it up, and I put it in a small stainless steel bowl. I can cook with this, set it right in the fire, it's not going to mess it up. And then the belt can be used as a tourniquet, carrying wood, strapping, all kinds of things you can use a good leather belt for. Let's see. This is a small food bag I keep on hand. I keep a couple hot chocolates in case I have to drink water that does not taste so well. I can add a little bit of hot chocolate or a little bit of instant coffee to it and cover up that, I guess you could say, muddy, earthy flavor. I keep almonds. They last a long time if they're vacuum sealed. I keep dried fruit, seasoned rice, and this is Slim Jim sticks that I vacuum sealed. I can eat these or I can use these as bait. They work great as bait. There's multiple small animals that will take that bait. Small walkie-talkie is a must, because if you're in a survival situation, you need to get in contact with your partner. You need to get in contact with other people. You can surf the bands, listen to it. This one actually has a weather service alert on it also, a national service alert, and it will automatically turn itself on and give me any alerts that I need to hear. I can also power it completely off to where if I'm in a situation where I'm trying to take cover, it does not go off automatically. This small bag goes with my other small bug out bag. I guess that's what people are calling them these days, my emergency bag. In it, I keep a couple heavy-duty rat traps. You can catch everything from squirrels to small possums, small raccoons, etc. with them. I keep small gauge heavy-duty cable, so that way I can strap down the rat traps. What I do is I drill a hole in the corner, and with that hole in the corner I'll tie that cable to it, and I'll make a stake 3 or 4 feet away or tie it to a tree branch, and whatever gets caught in this trap cannot escape because it's also staked down. You don't want something running off with your trap. This is pellets and BBs for a high-powered pellet rifle I take. We won't get into arms today. That's everybody's personal choice. I'm not showing my arms in this bag today. I don't feel that it's people's business what I carry. They are all legal, but that's just my business. Small gauge wire, you can use this for snares. You can use this for trapping, all kinds of good stuff. Help and build your shelter if you need to tie wire something together. Me personally, I only use this for snares. Another small roll of cable. Always make sure I got enough of that. This is a small container of slingshot darts that I carry. I can shoot these out of my slingshot. And I also keep homemade bladed arrowheads that I make out of copper pipe. I'm not worried about the shafts because I can find enough stuff in the wild that I can make something with the shaft out for the shaft. But I sharpen the edges so they're nice and sharp. I have several different sizes and shapes. I have small game arrowheads, large game arrowheads, fishing arrowheads, etc. But right there's a tag on the piece of the copper pipe. You can see where I flattened it out. Let's see. Let's go into this next pocket. In this next pocket, this is my fishing pole. As you can see, I keep a bobber hook in there. I wrap the string around the end, and I can fish straight off of that. I can also wrap this around a tree branch, leave it overnight, use it as a trot line. In the bottom, I keep extra fishing gear, extra hooks, extra weights, etc. I can also use that Slim Jim jerky for fishing bait. I keep a regular old slingshot in here, nothing fancy, nothing high powered, but I do have extra surgical hose, which is heavier duty than what comes on the slingshot. So if this dry rots or snaps, I have more. And you'd be amazed, a little bit of practice with a slingshot can take out very large game if you're good. Not only that, I make these. This clips right onto my slingshot. Like that. And now I can shoot arrows with my slingshot. Arrow just sits in this. And now it's a sling bow. I make a lot of these for friends and so forth. Everybody thinks I should sell them, but I haven't gotten to that point yet. I've also drilled a small hole in the bottom so I can tie a piece of fishing line onto my string if I need to do bow fishing. So that works out real nice. Extra fishing gear. Fishing gear is a big must. If you're near any sort of water, you're usually going to have some type of fish. So if you have a variety of gear, you have a better chance of eating. In here, I keep different size steel balls for my slingshot. I know you can use rocks, but steel shot or marbles actually work the best because they are round and more aerodynamic than your typical rock. You can use rocks, but I highly suggest having something that you can take with you until you get good enough that you can just pick up a rock and hit your target. More wire cable. I'm a big believer in snares. This is just a little laser pin light. If you need to get someone's attention and they're in your area and it's dark, they don't know if that's a laser coming off a rifle, a pistol, or just a pin light. If you need to get a hold of your partner while you're being silent, this will also get their attention. And this is moringa seeds. I talked about this on one of the videos with my turmeric and moringa tea. I keep these seeds for water purification. You can crack them, you can eat them. It'll give you 21 of the 23 amino acids your body needs. It's not going to feed you, it's not going to keep you alive, but it will give you sustenance, because you can only eat one or two of these a day because they are very potent. But mostly I keep them for water purification. In a tight situation, if I was having to stay in one location for say 6 months or a year, I could plant these seeds. Moringa trees grow fast enough that I could eat off of them the first year. But anyway, that's my bag, guys. I hope it helps some of you. I know everybody's going to probably have something. Well, why don't you have this? Why don't you have that? Well, I have this. Maybe you should put this in there. Well, this is what works for me. Everybody is different, but I have all of my bases covered of what I need in an emergency situation. I have my water covered. I have my food covered. I know how to catch food. I know how to trap food. I have supplies to do it with. I have things to make a shelter. I have a large tarp, which also straps to my bag, and that'll also give me shelter. But if you keep it to the minimum, you're not carrying around 60 pounds of weight on your back while you're trying to take care of yourself. You want the necessities and the skills to take care of yourself. If you go overboard, you're going to be lugging a bunch of weight that you don't need to be lugging, and you're going to wind up leaving half of it in the woods anyway. So keep it down to a minimum, keep the necessities, and you'll be all right. But that's what I keep in my emergency bag. People call them all types of things, but like I say, I've had a bag like this since before they were popular or before people started doing videos. But a couple of my friends thought I should show what I keep in my bag because they know I'm an outdoors person and I know how to take care of myself. And they actually also wondered what I keep in my bag. But that's about it, you guys. Thanks for watching Simple Life. And don't ever be scared of anything. Just be prepared for everything. Have a great day.